That extra day added to my sentence changed everything. It turned what would have been a standard jail term into the endless nightmare that was Pendina Prison. I was originally sentenced to 364 days. That was the deal, but the judge didn't like my attitude, whatever that meant. So he tacked on an extra day. 1 year, that's the minimum for prison time. My lawyer fought it, made a huge fuss, but it didn't matter. It wasn't my fault. My lawyer's the one who'll be leaking this story to the press if the Guardian Corrections Group GCG tries to hush us up. People need to know what really happened in Pendina Prison. And let me tell you, it was haunted.
Welcome to Room 13, where every story hides a secret, a place where the unknown comes to life, and the eerie is all too real. Here, we uncover the chilling tales that lurk in the shadows.
Aren't anything like the ones you hear about on tours. Those places are a joke compared to the real thing. Pendina was so bad that the GCG had to file for bankruptcy on their very first prison. Their filing in Chapter 11 used a statute from 1857 to claim that Pendina was afflicted by the supernatural, making continued operations impossible. And it wasn't the first time Pendina had been closed for that reason. Yet, people still kept buying the place and reopening it, hoping to make a buck off of it. When I first got sent there, I didn't know any of that. I had no idea about its history. Now, don't get me wrong, the building wasn't that bad. For something built in 1853, it was decent. It was a large stone structure, heavy, cramped, and old, but not as sealed off as modern prisons. We could see most of the cells from where we were. There was only one main hallway per floor, and you could pass things through the bars. It wasn't ideal, but it could have been worse. The prison had 5 floors and could hold 500 prisoners. When I first got there, I shared a cell with a few guys, and the place seemed packed with about 2,000 men. But that soon changed. For the first 3 weeks, I didn't talk to anyone. I had never been to prison before, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I didn't want to accept that I was stuck in that place with 3 cellmates for an entire year. The whole prison felt like it was full of wild men. The guys on the bottom floor would scream and panic in the middle of the night. We were on the top floor, but we could still hear their screams echoing through the old building, making it feel like they were right next to us. I thought the guys on the bottom floor were just crazy, but then something strange happened. One morning, I woke up without the usual sound of a guard banging on our bars. The guards weren't there. That's when I finally spoke up. I asked Dante, one of my cellmates, what was going on. I'll never forget the fear in his voice when he said, "The guards are gone, man." Everyone was talking quietly between cells, trying to figure out what was happening. All we knew was that something on the first floor had made the guards quit. We assumed it was a crazy screaming from the night, but when we tried to get a response from the first floor, we got nothing. It was completely silent down there. Dante mentioned the weird stories he had heard about the first floor, but wouldn't elaborate. He just shook his head and said, "Nothing, man. Nothing makes sense." We were all getting anxious as the day passed, and no one came to let us out for meals or yard time. The usual routine was completely ignored. People started sharing whatever food they had, and tensions grew. That was when I asked Dante, "Is it really that bad?" He replied, "They've denied us meals and yard time before, but this is different." The new guards finally showed up the next day, but they were confused and distant. They seemed more afraid of us than we were of them. One of them, Kellen, was different. He treated us like humans, never hit us, and even looked us in the eye when he talked. But the other guards couldn't handle us. After a few weeks, we learned that something was still wrong. The prisoners on the second floor had started screaming again, but it wasn't just panic. They were screaming for help, but there was no one coming to help them. The guards went downstairs, but after a while, everything went silent. The next day, the guards were just as confused as we were. They found the second floor empty, with no prisoners left. The prisoners had been transferred. According to guard, they were sent back to state custody because GCG couldn't handle them. But this just didn't sit right with us. As time passed, more strange things happened. Prisoners on different floors started hearing footsteps at night. Footsteps that didn't make sense, as if someone was walking around but never speaking. It got to the point where even Kellen began to believe something was wrong. The more we told him, the more he realized we weren't just making this up. Months went by, and we all grew more paranoid. We started hearing whispers about what had happened at Pendina in the past, and Kellen found documents that suggested the place had been haunted long before we got there. He told us about a story from the 1800s involving two priests who visited the area and died under mysterious circumstances. They had seen something, and now it seemed like whatever it was still here. By the time I was halfway through my sentence, things were getting worse. More prisoners had been transferred, leaving only a handful of us behind. The guards were understaffed, and we started hearing more strange noises, footsteps, whispers, things we couldn't explain. One night, the screams from the third floor were louder than ever. The fear was palpable. We thought it was another round of panic. But this time, it felt different. It was a nightmare that we were all living, and no one could escape. The following weeks were filled with dread as we waited for something to happen. We tried to tell the outside world, but no one cared. We were left alone with no help, no answers, and no way out. By the end of my sentence, it felt like I had spent a lifetime in that prison. It wasn't just a physical confinement. It was a constant fear, the knowing that something was watching us, waiting for us. And in the end, when I finally left, I realized that Pendina Prison was more than just a building. It was a place that had a life of its own, a life that was haunted by something we couldn't understand.
Hey, the stories aren't over yet, but consider subscribing and leaving a like. With a simple tap on the screen, you help our work a lot. Now, without further ado, let's move on to the next story.